What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Heart of a Lion podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and you have just stepped into the Lion's Den. If this is your first time listening, then go ahead and hit that follow the subscribe button from wherever you're listening to the podcast. You can follow the Instagram page at HoAL podcast. Again, that's at HoAL podcast, as well as follow the page on Facebook at the Heart of a Lion podcast. If you're a returning listener, then thank you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. It's always appreciated. I always appreciate the love and support, and I always appreciate the feedback as well. It's interesting because today I had it in my mind to record. I had reserved the studio so that I can come in and record. And then, the day just kind of got away from me, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to record. And then the opportunity came for me to actually be able to record. So I was like, well, okay, God, I'll take advantage of this opportunity. So there is that. Here we are. And what I felt led to talk about in my spirit on today was just talking about, watch your mouth. That's the title of this episode. Watch your mouth. Why do I say watch your mouth? And that is because Proverbs 18:21 tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So if death and life are in the power of the tongue, we have to be mindful for the things that we say. And I think that sometimes, I take that back. I know that sometimes we actually, so carelessly or so casually say things without thinking of it, or without any meaning, or without, any repercussion, because like, oh, it's harmless, or, oh, I didn't mean anything by it, or I'm saying this, but whatever. And I feel like, we just have to be, more mindful for how we say things. Just recently, I've talked about it a couple times on some episodes. I've talked about it on a couple of different episodes where I've just said I've had to be more mindful about my own speech, about talking about, the life. What did I say? I kept saying, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And it seemed like every time I said that, something else happened. Something would happen with my car, something that happened at home. So like just various different things. And I kept saying, man, if it ain't one thing, it's another. But then when I stopped saying it, it was just like, I'm like, let me say this, not just stop saying it, but I also renounced it from my vocabulary. I completely took it out of my vocabulary. Completely took it out of my vocabulary. I said, I renounce this in Jesus' name. I no longer declare this. I no longer say this. And things just stopped happening. Like stupid stuff just stopped happening. And then one day recently, last week from this recording anyway, I was talking to a coworker, and then I said the phrase again, and then boom, I got sick. And I was like, dang, man. So it's like, you really have to be mindful about what you say. And it's not just about that. Like for me personally, I've always have hated like when people be like, oh, he killing it, or I'm killing it, Joe. Like I hate the way the term sounds. So people say it, I understand it's supposed to mean like that's dope, or yeah, he's doing a great job, whatever. I personally just don't like it. But for me personally, like how I learned just the importance of, life and death and the power of the tongue is that as a young Christian, I remember that there were times when I was hanging out with different friends, and we would go back and forth about different things, and like not being serious, but just going back and forth. And I remember one friend, him and I were going back and forth, and he said something, I said something, he said something. And then I was like, man, shut up. I hope your aunt kick you out, because he lived with his aunt at the time. And I was like, I hope she kicks you out. The next day, this man, I was talking to him. I was like, what's going on with you? Like, he was mad about something. I was like, why are you mad? And he was mad because his aunt had kicked him out. I don't think nothing of it, right? I think I did kind of get blamed for it, but I was like, I ain't think nothing of it. And there was another time I was talking to a different friend, and I said to her, like her and I were going back and forth, and I said, man, I hope your mom kick you out. The next day, she tells me that her mom had kicked her out of the house. And those two situations alone, I was like, yo, I really got to stop saying that, because clearly there is power in my words. You know, some people may not believe that, and that's cool. You don't have to. However, if you are a believer, you should understand that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And you should always be mindful of what you say. Like, I personally do not invite death on me at all. I do not invite altercations on me at all. You know, there are so many people, so many Christian people, right, who have this mindset of, you know, oh, you know, don't bother me, like, leave me alone. You don't know who I was, or leave me alone. I'm from the south side of the kingdom, or I ain't been saved all my life, da 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 da. Like that stuff. Talk about something. I wish you would. Like, I really wish you wouldn't. Please leave me alone. Don't bother me. But I've often found that when you have that mindset of, oh, I wish you would, like, you invite that type of negative energy. You know, you invite negative situations. You invite all that type of stuff. But when you chill, you cool, you calm, you collected, like, that stuff stuff can happen around me and it don't bother me one bit. You know, I've been in situations where, just at the gym playing basketball, right? I've been at the gym playing basketball, and this is definitely a throwback because I haven't played basketball in over a year now. But be at the gym playing basketball, and I see guys, you know, somebody will say something smart, and then guys get to arguing back and forth. And I remember there's one particular guy who was a habitual offender of just like starting stuff with people, always going back and forth. And this on a particular day when I was there and I was playing, and dude started talking trash to me. And mind you, I love talking trash, right? But I only talk trash to people I know. I only talk trash to people I know in you know, just for the fun of the game, you know, just for the fun of it. I don't talk trash to people I know because I don't know what their mindset is. You know, they may not like trash talk, or, you know, whatever. Like, they may take it too seriously, and for me, it ain't that serious. But this guy started talking trash to me. I ain't feeding into it. He kept running his mouth and kept running his mouth and kept running his mouth and going off. And I didn't feed into any of it. And then after the game was over, he actually came up to me and apologized for running his mouth. This same guy who would run his mouth to other people, this same guy who I've seen him swing on other people. Like, I said nothing, and he came and apologized to me. So what I've learned is that, like, when you don't feed into the negative situations, when you don't feed into that stuff, you know, it's, oh my gosh, what is that verse? There is a verse, I can't remember what the verse is off the top of my head, but there's a verse in Proverbs that talks about not fanning the flames, essentially like letting a fire die out, right? Like, don't add fuel to the fire. You know, when you don't add fuel, when you don't add wood to the fire, then the fire will eventually die out. So I'm not going to add fuel to the fire by going back and forth with somebody. Like, I do not give you that pleasure, that satisfaction. I am not doing it. Like, I'm not going back and forth with anybody about nothing. Like, it's not that serious to me, and it ain't worth it. And I don't like arguing, partially because, like, I know I can get riled up. But where I am in God now, I am so content. I would rather walk away from a situation and let you think that you got the best of me versus, you know, going back and forth with you and, you know, people looking at me like I'm foolish, right? Because it says in Proverbs 26:4, do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. You know, so if I'm arguing back and forth with somebody, to somebody else, you know, they're going to look at me and think, oh, he's foolish, you know, or he's a fool. Like, why is he doing that? Why is he going back and forth with him? It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. But again, it's just about watching your mouth, because think about how many people are in a grave right now because they invited violence, right? Either because they started it, they initiated it, or they reacted to it. Think about how many people are in jail or in prison right now because they invited violence, either because they initiated it or because they reacted to it. You know, and so many times, like, when we really look back at it, it's not worth it. I thank God for all the situations that he protected me from just by keeping me out of things, or keeping me hidden from things or protected from things. And as a result, it saved me from things that could have, deterred my life forever. I don't carry myself in such a way where it invites people. I don't carry myself in such a way where it invites negativity. I don't carry myself in such a way where it invites people, to come to me with attitudes and things like that. And if people do come to me with attitudes, then hey, God bless you, brother. God bless your sister. I'm going to keep going on. I might vent about it later, but I'm not going to give you the satisfaction in the moment to make you think that you got the best of me, or I'm not going to give you the satisfaction in the moment of me arguing back and forth with you, because again, you don't know how these situations can turn out. You don't know how these situations can play out. Watch your mouth. It ain't worth it, to have that ego, or what you say it again. I bet you won't do nothing, like all that stuff. Like, it ain't worth it. It ain't, like, none of it is worth it. It's not worth it at all. So we have to be mindful of what it is that we say. We have to be mindful of the things that we say and do. And even as I'm talking about it now, it just makes me think. I have a future episode that I'm going to do called Toxic Masculinity, or talking about toxic masculinity. So a lot of that goes into this here. But again, just, we so carelessly, throw around things, like saying, oh, if it ain't one thing, it's another, oh, it's a case of the Mondays. Like, why does Monday have to be bad just because it's Monday? Monday is what you make it. It doesn't have to be a bad day just because it's Monday. It doesn't have to be a bad day just because it's raining. Oh, I'm just so sad because it's raining. Like, no, it doesn't have to be a sad day because it's raining. Just because somebody cuts you off in traffic, that doesn't mean it has to deter your whole day. It doesn't have to be a bad day because somebody cut you off. It doesn't have to be a bad day because somebody said something smart to you. It doesn't have to be a bad day because somebody was rude to you. It doesn't have to be a bad day because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. It doesn't have to be a bad day because you overslept. It doesn't have to be a bad day because you don't have coffee. Just, again, be mindful of what you say. What you say has power. There is power in your words. Sometimes the things that we say, it's like we're speaking a word curse against ourselves. Sometimes the things that we say is us speaking a word curse against other people. And neither one of those is cool. Like, neither one of those is cool. It's honestly, our parents, many parents used to say growing up, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And many of us just need to shut it on up and stop talking, because, like, what do we really be talking about? People just be talking, be talking and being negative. If everything that you talk about is negative, you need self-reflection. If everything that you say is negative about somebody else, you really need a self-reflection. Really need that self-reflection. But speak life into yourself. Speak life into others. Just declare the word over your life. If you're not a believer, just speak positively over yourself. I really wish we all were believers. But, realistically, not everybody who listens to this, not every person who may listen to this, not every person who listens to this may be a believer. So just understanding that that you can empower yourself with the words that you speak, with the declarations that you make. I am enough. I am forgiven. I am, a great man. I am a great husband. I am a great father. I am, I can do anything. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. For me personally, I have to, speak certain speak certain scriptures over my life, from time to time, so I don't dwell on the negative, or just so I don't dwell on things that just really aren't important, and let myself know, like, yo, you are enough. You are doing a good job. Keep pressing, keep going. You got this. Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we do not have to worry about what anybody else has to say, right? People are always going to have something to say, and they need to watch their mouths. But I also have to watch my mouth and watch my mind, and understanding that I don't have to believe what they say. Sometimes we allow the opinions and the values of other people to mean more to us or weigh more on us than those who actually care about us. Who cares about what Joe Schmo said at your school, who you only see a couple times a day or, a couple of times throughout the week? Who cares about what that coworker says, who you don't talk to or whose number you don't have? Like, what difference does it make? What does it matter? Why dwell on it? Why harp on it? Just give it to God. Give it to God. Again, just understanding that just because people paint things a certain way doesn't mean it has to be that way. Again, just because it's Monday, just because it's a rainy day doesn't mean it has to be a bad day. It could still be a great day. It could still be a great day. Just because something bad happens to you, doesn't mean, if one thing happens, it's another. It's me talking to myself too. Just because something happens doesn't mean like you have to speak those things. Doesn't mean you have to say those things. Be mindful of what you say and understanding that if you're a parent, your kids pick up on everything that you do. Like, I have to be super mindful of how I carry myself and how I conduct myself, especially because I can be, I was going to say I can be a little sarcastic, but people who know me know I can be sarcastic. I can have a smart mouth. I joke a lot. I play a lot. And I've learned that I can't always be sarcastic. I have to chill on the sarcasm. I have to chill on the smart mouth. My daughter, oh my gosh, she is just like me in the sense that sometimes she plays too much and doesn't know when to stop. And I'm just like, chill. And she just wants to keep playing. But her daddy is the same way. And I've gotten a lot better, but she gets it from me. So it's the same way with speech. People take in that same thing. Like, whatever you spew out, people take that in. So it's just, I found myself around people who are just so negative all the time. And then sometimes I would find myself being negative and I'm like, why am I feeling like this? And I was like, oh, because I'm always around so-and-so. So it's like I can pour life into other people. But the moment I feel the weight of too much negativity, I'm like, I can't deal with that. Unless God purposely puts me around this person for me to pray for them or walk with them or encourage them or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't want that around just because I have a certain standard for myself. I have a certain level of life, a certain level of positivity, a certain level of whatever, for myself. And I can't afford to allow the negativity, the death, the dismay, the jealousy, the whatever of other people to weigh me down. Like, that is not my portion. That is absolutely not my portion. I reject that for me. That is not for me at all. But again, we have to be mindful of what we say. We have to be mindful of how we talk to other people. I talk to people the way that I want to be talked to. I don't talk to people the way that they deserve, in the sense that if somebody comes to me disrespectfully, I don't talk to them disrespectfully. I take that back. When people come to me disrespectfully, I really try hard to not talk to them disrespectfully. When people come to me with a smart mouth, I really try hard not to come back at them with a smart mouth, because I have a smart mouth. And I know for a fact, I can think of a few people off the top of my head who've had a smart mouth with me. And when I came back with a smart mouth, they didn't know how to handle it. So I try to be mindful, because I don't ever want anybody to take me out of my character. I don't ever want somebody's last impression of me to be like the worst side of me, or for them to, their last impression of me to catch me, when I was having a bad day or a bad moment. So I just reject bad days. It's like, it's Monday. Okay, cool. Like, start of a great week. Like let's get to it. It's raining outside. Yeah, it's raining outside. Whatever. It is what it is. It gives me a chance to focus on something else. Just looking at the positives in everything. Understanding that, yes, things happen. Yes, we go through things. But again, I don't have to dwell in the negative place. You can still find joy in the valley. In the same way, some people, find a way to look at all the negative on the mountain high. I choose to find all the joy in the valley. If I have a little bit left in my cup, that's enough to be joyful about, Because at the end of the day, if I have a little bit left in my cup, there's still somebody who didn't have anything in theirs. So let me take joy. Let me rejoice in what I have. Let me thank God for what I have. Let me continue to be prosperous, to be joyful, to be a shining light for other people. I can't tell you how many times I've had people complain to me about nothing when I'm going through far worse things. And I just say nothing, either because I just didn't feel like talking about it, because I knew it may come back to them, even because I didn't, feel like talking about it, just because I just didn't want to talk about what I was going through, or just because I knew that there were people who were going through far worse things than what I was going through. And, it's just, again, understanding yourself, understanding, your language, and just be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of the repercussions of what you say and how that can affect you. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I'm going to choose life every time, because I don't even like when people say, "Oh, you're killing me." Like, I hate when people say that. Like, if I can't think of what to say, I would rather say nothing than to say you killing me. Like, I hate those terminologies. Like, no, and again, somebody probably like, "Oh, it's not that serious. Oh, it's not that deep." Cool. It might not be that deep for you, but for me, it's that serious. I take it that serious. I'm not using those words. I'm not saying that. So, thank you for listening to my rant on today. But no, seriously, just be mindful of what you say, y'all. Be mindful of what you say. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Do not try this at home in the sense of like me saying, "Oh, I hope so-and-so kicks you out." Do not try it. I'm telling you, there is power in your words. There's definitely power in your words. So that's all I got for y'all today. Short episode. I just wanted to get that out, get that off my chest. But yeah, man, God is good. God is good. And this, again, just in spite of what we go through, God is still good. It's understanding and recognizing that in spite of what my circumstances are, that I can still look at God. I can still praise God. I can still trust God. I can still give God the glory. I can still give God the praise. I can still worship God. I can still, take joy in everything, because there are people in this world who are who have far less than what we do. But us, especially in this Western culture, we complain over the littlest things, over the smallest things, but not thinking about the people who have less. We'll complain about what we don't want to eat or what our options are when there are people who actually don't have anything to eat. We'll complain because we don't want to drink water, but there are people who don't even have water. There are people who don't have clean water. We'll complain about not having anything to wear, but got 20 different outfits in our closet, when there are people who legitimately have the one outfit that they wear every single day. There are people who get so caught up in what they look like and putting on so much makeup or needing to have their hair done a certain way. And there are people whose hair is matted every day because they just don't have the means to get it taken care of. So this is why I choose joy, because I'm grateful for what I have. This is why I choose joy, because it could always be worse, but God has graced me. He has provided me with what I have. He has blessed me in ways that are unimaginable. He will continue to bless me in ways that are unimaginable. He'll forever be good. He'll forever be good. It's God's good. And I love God. My life with God is far. I heard it said in a song once, and I stand by it. And it said that my worst day as a believer is better than my best day before I met Christ. And I stand on that, because at least my worst day as a believer, I still have God. My best day as a non-believer could have easily turned to my worst day on any given moment. But God, I still have God. I have that relationship with God. I know God. It's only because of my relationship with God that where I am now. And when I say where I am now, I mean where I am with a positive mindset, where I am with speaking life, where I am with declaring life and not death. I don't even say love you to death. I say love people to life. It's just life, everything. And again, for some people, it might be, oh, I'm being too deep, or I might be too much, and that's cool. But this is my podcast, and these are my thoughts. So I'm sharing my thoughts, y'all. I'm sharing my thoughts. But that's all for real now. That's all I have for today. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until next time, y'all.